So as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail of this video, I am going to say this right out of the gate before I start talking about this topic. Boy, oh boy, I was wrong. Boy, oh boy, I was wrong. I will even put this in bold letters on the screen for you guys. I was wrong. The game finally came out. Advanced Wars Reboot Camp actually released, and it has proven me wrong. And just for this video, I am going to give myself the title of Numbskull for this video. Because have said this multiple times in the past. I refuse to admit that this game came out. I refuse to admit that the game would come out, and it finally released. And holy mackerel, is this game just as good. And I do want to give some of my thoughts and concerns with the game because I did get the game yesterday. I beat the first campaign, and I am currently working through Black Hole Rising. I just started it this morning, and I have played a little bit of the game, and I want to give my thoughts and concerns on what I think about it so far. Now, I haven't touched the online mode just yet or played the war room just yet, so I do want to say that before I get started because, like I said, I just got the game yesterday. Finally got a physical copy of the game, so I can give my thoughts and opinions on the game and what I think about it. So I want to start with the negatives before I move on to the positives because that's kind of how I want to try and do some of these things. I believe I done this in the past with some of my reviews for games. So I want to start with the negatives first. The technical issue, the only technical issue I had with this game was I was on the final mission of the first campaign and my game crashed. I think it was because, I don't know, I was fast forwarding too quickly and I just kept holding the right trigger down. I don't know if it's because I played it for a long time. I don't know, but my game crashed. Fortunately, it saved my progress, so I was relieved. So I could just pick off from where I left in the campaign. So the bookmark feature is kind of there, but that's another thing I want to talk about in a second. But the campaign is surprisingly decent from what I've been hearing other people say. I heard it was pretty good, but honestly, I didn't think it was this good. I mean, there is partial voice acting in there, or there is voice acting. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said partial. There is voice acting in this game. So honestly, I didn't really expect it, but that's pretty cool. One thing that kind of upsets me is the lack of bookmarking. So whenever you do like a local versus match, you have an option to like bookmark the game. And let's just say if you're like 50 turns in like a crazy match and you have to go run an errand or go on a hot date or you have to go out to eat or something, you could put a bookmark in the game where it's like if you're 50 turns in, you could pause the game and bookmark it and leave. This was an option in Wargroove because in Wargroove, whenever you were in the middle of a match, whether it's arcade mode or versus mode, you had a bookmark option that saved your progress. But it's kind of not really present here in Advanced Wars. It's here for like the campaign. Yeah, that's good and all. But what about versus mode? What about the war room? What about online mode? Because again, like the way that I understand the bookmark feature is like it's kind of like a checkpoint. So if you were like 50 turns in like a intense versus match, you had an option to bookmark the game and you could put it off for another day or come back to it later. but it's not really present there. Because in Wargroove, you do have this, but Advance Wars, it's not there. So that's kind of disappointing. And the other thing that kind of disappoints me is the there's you don't get to play as the commanding officer on the battlefield. I tried to describe this in my previous video talking about this game, so I just want to re-clarify it. You can choose that commander, but the problem is there's no standalone unit. Like if you choose a tank, there's a tank on the battlefield. If you choose a infantry soldier, there's an infantry soldier on the battlefield. But there's no commanding officer on the battlefield, like as a separate standalone unit. Because in Wargroove, if you chose to play as Mercia, that commander Mercia is on the battlefield and you got to play as that commander on the battlefield. But in Advance Wars, it's not really there, so that's kind of disappointing. You can choose to play as the commander and use their abilities, which is awesome, but I still prefer to use like the actual commander. It kind of removes the risk versus reward there, because if you kill the commander in Wargroove, you won the match, or if you destroy the stronghold, you won the match. But here in Advanced Wars, the way that it works is you have two ways of winning. You either eliminate all the opposing forces or you capture the enemy headquarters, which I guess is okay, you know. I mean, it's similar to Wargroove. You destroy the stronghold or try to wipe out all the enemy forces or get rid of the commander. But I mean, here in Advance Wars, it's a little bit less risk because there's no commander standalone unit on the battlefield. So, I mean, it's alright, you know. I don't see a lot of people in Wargroove really charging head forward playing with their commander as often. But then again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So, honestly, those are really my only negatives. There's no standalone unit for the commander. There's a lack of bookmarking for saving progress. And there's only a crashing technical issue. But other than that, the crashing technical issue is just super rare. So, I only really don't have that many complaints. I just only have 3. So I do want to focus on the positives. I do like for versus mode how you can choose between styles. You can choose to play the standard Advance War styles with the classic CO powers, or you can choose to play the Advance Wars 2 style and play with the standard CO powers and the super CO powers, which is an upgraded version of your CO power, depending on what commander you play. And you do get access to an extra unit or two. The Neo tank, I mean, I believe that's the much stronger version of the medium tank, and that thing, I believe, is a menace. I only got, like I said, got to play with it with like one time. And I do like the map creator too. It is pretty nice. It's similar to Wargroove, but it's definitely a slight downgrade of Wargroove, because in Wargroove you can make it enormous. I think it was like what, 50 by 50 or something, but in Advance Wars you can do it 30 by 15 at the largest, and you can only save up to like 50 maps at most. I mean, this was another complaint I had, because in Wargroove you can save up a bunch of maps. I think I have like what, over 50 maps. I had like 80 maps or something, 100 maps saved. But in Advanced Wars you can only have a maximum of 50. That was another complaint I had. I'm sorry. Make that 4. But I do like the map creator in there. I will say it is a bit chunky for my preference, but it still looks pretty nice though once you get the entire map finished and everything. So it is pretty nice looking. It is kind of growing on me, but it'll take some getting used to. And also, I will say, this game definitely, I don't know what it is, but it definitely seems more polished than before. I will give credit where credit's due. The delay did help this game, especially because this game did need it some more polishing, so it does look much nicer. I mean, it is a bit chunkier. I do like the toy soldier art style of the game. I mean, it is nice and all, and it does look polished, I will say. So I'll give credit there. And I do enjoy the campaign so far. It is really good. I am playing through the second campaign, so I am gonna need to play through it more. That's really all I can say. I beat the first campaign and I'm working through the second. And honestly, that's pretty much all I got so far. I mean, I still need to try the war room. I still need to do the online mode. I mean, I did unlock a couple COs through Hachi Shop and all, but again, I only got the game yesterday and I beat the first campaign and I need to work on the second campaign. So, I mean, I'm still pretty much going through the whole game itself. I still haven't really experienced that much. I've only played the design room, the versus mode, and the campaign. I still need to do the war room, which is arcade mode, and I still need to try out the online mode. From what I heard, the online mode isn't really that good, but I do want to kind of find out for myself. But yeah, honestly, that's kind of my experience so far with this game. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a lot of fun. And if you're into like turn-based strategy games, I would recommend checking out this game if you're interested. But other than that, that's pretty much all I can really say about this game. I mean, if something else pops out interesting for this game, maybe I'll make a follow-up video, but other than that, that's all I gotta say. So with that being said, thank you guys all for watching. Let me know what you all think down below. And until next time, you guys, I'm talking about Advance Wars Reboot Camp, and I'll see you all later.